There's this one guitar intro that has the potential to improve everything you do on the guitar. Your technique, phrasing and dynamics won't ever be the same once you learn it. In fact, this piece of music completely transformed my understanding of how to connect lead and rhythm playing in a way I had never imagined before. That intro sounds something like this. Of course, I am talking about Electric Gypsy, a song written by Andy Timmons. I was so heavily inspired by this song that I used my hard-earned student money to buy the legendary BB preamp, the very pedal that is used on the original recording. And needless to say, I didn't have money for Mesa Boogie Lone Star or Andy's signature Ibanez. On the surface, this is just a very simple chord progression. It's just D, A, B minor, and G. And you probably know what progression that is.
It's a 4-chord song, Benny.
Well, if you want all the greatest hits from the past 40 years, just use 4 chords. Same 4 chords for every song. It's dead simple to write a pop hit.
Just 4?
Yeah, these 4. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4 chords.
Yeah, it's that famous 4-chord song. But how the heck can you make something interesting out of the progression that was already used thousands of times? I guess it might help if you insert some flashy guitar lick in there. We will get to that one in a bit. But first let's see how to turn those basic and kind of boring chords into something more juicy. Instead of playing them in their basic position, we will transform them into shapes that will allow us to mix chord with tasty licks. For the first 2 chords, we will use just the root note and the third. But the trick is that for the root notes, we will use open strings. So for the D, we will use open D string and 11th fret of the G string, which is note F sharp. And for A chord, we will use open A string and 11th fret on the D string, which is note C sharp. Okay, so we have this and this. For B minor, we will use this Hendrix type shape here in the 7th position with my thumb pressing the low E string on the 7th fret to get that B note. And for G chord, we will use this C shape right here again in the 7th position. But don't worry if you can't play it, we will not use the whole shape, we'll play a tasty lick instead of this chord. So it's okay if you can't play it right now. So far we have this. Now we can start building on top of this. Instead of playing just the root and the third, we will create a simple melody that will connect the D and A chord. It will sound like this. Pay close attention to the dynamics and those slightly embellishments and make sure you let those open strings ring through, otherwise it will sound kind of flat. So let's play it slowly once more. Following that, we have this Hendrixy part that connects A chord with B minor. The key to playing this right is to play it like a rhythm and not like a lead. You want to mute all the surrounding strings, so only the notes that you want will come out, but those muted strings will give it a nice percussive sound, like this. Okay? Since you have your thumb already here muting the E string, it is easy to transition to the B minor, where we need to fret that 7th fret with our thumb. The advantage of using your thumb over the neck is that your other fingers can move freely and therefore it is easier to play licks over chords. We have finished with our pinky on the 10th fret of A string, which is the first note of the final chord G major. And from here we are all set to play this beautiful double stop line that will lead us back to the D. Sounds like this. This is just a wonderful lick. Listen closely and you will hear that Andy mutes the strings once he slides those double stops up. Just release the pressure for a sec and then slide back. Okay, like this. And we have ended the last phrase on the note D on the 5th fret of A, which is the beginning of the next 4-bar cycle. But we need to move back to our main melody, and this is done by jumping one octave up and right back to that melody, like this. When playing this, make sure that you don't mute the D string when you jump through the octave. So you are here, and this is your octave. Okay, so when you are sliding here, make sure you don't mute that D string, because then it sounds kind of flat and it doesn't sound very good, but it happened to me a million times, so I'm pointing it up to you. Okay, now that we went through all 4 chords, let's put it all together and then we will come back to that crazy lick. So here it is. And now the lick you've been all waiting for. It sounds like this. This is quite something, so let's break it down bit by bit. This lick appears when you go 3rd time over the whole sequence, and it is played over a G chord. So we finish the B minor chord on the 10th fret of A string, and from there we start the lick. Here is the first, more difficult part in tempo. And now a little bit slower. And now the second part. Try to keep your hands as relaxed as possible and play the strings lightly so the notes nicely blend together. Take your time with this beast. It takes a while before you can play it cleanly and at speed. So that is basically the whole intro. Let's put it all together. Hope you enjoy learning and playing this intro as much as I do. Don't forget to pay close attention to your dynamics and to your touch so it sounds the way it is supposed to. As I said, keep your hands relaxed and your touch very light. Have fun!